Tikr and Koyfin both promise to deliver professional-grade market insights and make you a much more profitable investor, but there's a hidden gap in what they actually deliver, and it could be why your research still feels incomplete. After managing real portfolios with both, I discovered what truly sets them apart. If you're deciding between them, knowing the winner could save you from making a major strategic mistake. Now, to understand this Tikr versus Koyfin battle, you need to know that they're built for two different types of investors. This isn't just about features, it's about how you want to work. Tikr is fantastic for quick, clean, fundamental data. It's built like a streamlined database. You get long-term financial history, global stock coverage, and company filings. It's perfect if your main goal is to look up a company's numbers really quickly, especially if you focus on the long-term fundamentals of the business. Koyfin, on the other hand, is built as a complete research workspace. It's designed for the investor who doesn't just want the data, but wants to interrogate it. Think of it like this. Tikr is a great library, but Koyfin is your entire analyst desk with live charts, screeners, dashboards, and news all connected in one place. Its strength is in giving you control. You're not just reading numbers, you're visualizing trends, testing ideas, and building a customized workflow. For active investors, traders, or anyone who wants to move beyond simple lookups and into real analysis, this is the game changer. But don't just take my word for it. When I dug into what other serious users are saying about Koyfin, the pattern was clear. One Koyfin user who also uses much more expensive institutional platforms said that Koyfin has all of the advanced tools that you'd expect from a much more expensive market data provider, and more for a fraction of the cost. So their data is incredibly easy to use, format, digest, and export into any other program or dashboard as well. This mirrors my experiences exactly. Koyfin feels like the professional's tool that decided to be affordable. So if you're actively researching, managing a portfolio, and you need to connect market news to chart movements to financial ratios in real time, then Koyfin is built for your brain. It's the difference between having a fact book and having a command center with all the different joysticks, right? Alright, so let's get into what you're actually paying for. I put every major tool and feature through their paces, and this is where the Tikr versus Koyfin comparison gets really interesting. Koyfin isn't just a collection of features, it's all a connected system designed for discovery. Let's start with the heart of it, my dashboards. Right off the bat, Koyfin hands you the controls. It lets you build custom dashboards from scratch, so you can drag and drop widgets for your watch list, specific charts, news feeds, economic calendars, anything else you need. I built one for tech sector monitoring and another for macro trends. And having that tailored view saves me hours of jumping between tabs or moving things around. So once I set that up, it kind of turned the platform into my personal research hub, and I could move things as I wanted and research exactly what I wanted where I wanted. Then there's the ETF Holdings Constituents and Contribution tool, which is a sleeper hit. You type in an ETF like QQQ, and it doesn't just show you the holdings, it breaks down exactly how much each stock contributed to the ETF's performance that day or that week. This is huge for understanding what's actually driving your ETF's price, something I found much more detailed than a simple holdings list on Tikr. Now, for those who manage money for others or collaborate, the model portfolio sharing feature is brilliant. You can create a model portfolio and share it with colleagues or clients, giving them either view only or edit access. It streamlines communication and sharing ideas and editing and combining different people within the same workflow. But where Koyfin truly separates itself is in its breadth of data types. The global bonds, yield curves, and FX section is a perfect example of this. You can analyze the entire US Treasury yield curve, compare corporate bond spreads, or track forex pairs, all with the same charting and screening power you use for stocks. But for the more professionally inclined, the client portfolios structure with households, portfolios, and accounts is a nod to the platform's power for advisors. And the historical graph tool is arguably its most powerful feature. You can chart literally any metric against any other. Want to see how Tesla's gross margin trends line up with lithium prices, or plot inflation data against the S&P 500? You can do it in seconds. This level of flexibility, deep analysis, and control is where Koyfin feels like it's in a different league. Another area that I don't think Tikr can really match is its qualitative data. Koyfin's corporate transcripts library with searchable earnings calls back to like 2004, I believe, is really a research goldmine here. You can get a lot of great stuff. Reading management's own words from past cycles provides context that you don't just get from numbers alone. And for performance analysis, the relative performance or the A-B chart is something that I use constantly. So it lets you pit any two securities against each other on a chart, like A to B, right? So comparing your stock pick to the sector ETF instantly shows you if you're getting alpha or just riding the wave. Now, portfolio analysis tools are where both platforms aim to help, but Koyfin's integration is much more seamless. You can link brokerages securely via Plaid or manually enter holdings. It then shows you attribution, sector exposure, and performance breakdowns. It becomes the one place to track your entire strategy, not just to look up a single stock. And it keeps going. Mutual fund data sourced from Morningstar, watchlist sharing for all users to collaborate, and a fully featured mobile app that lets you take this analytical power anywhere you want. It's not just a stripped down app, it has all the features that you need. It's a very powerful tool in your pocket. Now, to be fair, in our tikr versus Koyfin look, tikr does have its strengths. I know I've been saying a lot of good things about Koyfin. Tikr has a market overview page, which is really clean, and it lets you create custom news feeds, which is very handy. For a pure, no-fuss fundamental snapshot of a company anywhere in the world, it's very efficient. But what really solidified my opinion wasn't just my testing, it was hearing from other investors who made the switch. I dug into forums and Reddit threads looking for real-world stories, and one post perfectly captured the journey I think a lot of you are on or want to find out. A retail investor shared a detailed review talking about how he used to piece together data from free sites like FinViz and MarketWatch, managing what he called a digital jigsaw puzzle of spreadsheets. He was skeptical, but he tried Koyfin on a colleague's recommendation, and his word, the transition was revelatory. He didn't just praise the affordability or the breadth of data, though he loved the global market coverage from the US to Vietnam and Singapore. He zeroed in on the depth, the granular analyst coverage, the detailed financials, the earnings call transcripts that you can actually search. For someone without a Bloomberg terminal, he called Koyfin a valuable asset that genuinely enhanced his decision-making process. So the comment that really hit home for me was actually from another user who replied, saying that he fully shared in his experience and also considers Koyfin an excellent tool for retail. The ability to customize views and download charts was one aspect that he loved, and I think that really echoes exactly what makes Koyfin win in this tikr versus Koyfin standoff, because it's not just about having a really long list of features, though that does help. It's about providing a customizable, deep, and connected system that replaces a dozen bookmarks and hours of manual work and does it in a clean, efficient, and qualitative way. Tikr gives you data, Koyfin gives you a tailored research workflow. And when you hear multiple independent users, not the company's marketing, they're all raving about the same transformative experience, and I think that's a powerful signal. But of course, no platform is going to be perfect, even Koyfin, right? I've been talking it up, but it does have some issues with it. I saw a few in the comments, and to make the best choice in your tikr versus Koyfin decision, you need to know the potential downsides of each. For Koyfin, the main concern that I saw and that I considered when actually interacting with people and using the platform is the initial learning curve. There are incidents of support issues and glitches, as with any platform, very rarely. But the main problem I just think there is the learning curve to begin with. One user review stated that it initially took him a good amount of time to learn how to use the product and to navigate the system. And yeah, I felt this too. With so much power and so many options and the depth, the interface can definitely feel a bit overwhelming on day one, but after like a week of consistent use, it starts to click, and the payoff in efficiency is massive. It's an investment of time that pays off dividends in insight, I think. For tikr, the downsides are more about limitations in its design. The consensus from user feedback and my own testing points to a lack of advanced portfolio tools, no brokerage integrations or Excel API, and a UI that, while clean, isn't as intuitive for beginners as some might hope. When it comes to pricing, both offer different tiers. Koyfin positions itself as a premium retail/professional platform, and for the sheer volume and integration of its tools, I think the value is definitely there for anyone actively managing their money. I think tikr lags a little behind. It does what it does very well, but it doesn't have as much as Koyfin. So if you want, check that link in the description of this video for the latest pricing and any promotional offers and anything else that they might want to let you know. I'll try to keep that link updated so that you can make the most informed decision. So after a couple months of testing, where does this tikr versus Koyfin showdown leave us? This is the truth investors have to know. If your primary need is fast access to clean, long-term fundamental data on global stocks, I think Tikr is a solid, focused tool for that. It does that job well. But if your goal is to become a more insightful, proactive, and profitable investor, then Koyfin is the undeniable winner. It's the complete package that grows with you as you learn and as you grow. So if you want to start building your own research command center, check that link in the description to explore Koyfin's latest plans and available discount deals.